A wealthy New York socialite has her life turned upside down when her father passes, and she realizes she is now a cult leader in a small town. Let's talk about Freeform's Praise Petey. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for the first and now only season of Praise Petey. This aired on Freeform, and you can catch up on Hulu with all 10 episodes. But in November, this was canceled for season 2, so we will not be seeing this one again. But we do have these 10 episodes you can check out if you'd like. And before we get into the specifics of the show, though, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We do movie and TV reviews here, and just about every day something new goes up. So there's always a lot to check out. Please consider subscribing. Click that like button, comment below, all that stuff, of course, helps the channel out. All right, so Praise Petey, this is an adult animated series, and it stars the voice talent of Annie Murphy, Stephen Root, Christine Baranski, John Cho, among a few others. A lot of recurring and guest actors that you will recognize as well, including Sheryl Lee Ralph and Kenan Thompson and a bunch of the Saturday Night Live people, actually. James Austin Johnson, who's on SNL right now. Eve Plum, who played on the Brady Bunch back in the day. Alan Tudyk, Michael Cera. So there's a lot of people involved in this. But maybe the most important are the producers, or at least a couple of them, Mike Judge and Greg Daniels. Mike Judge, of course, has brought us, from back to Beavis and Butthead, but, since then, Office Space, and both of them brought us King of the Hill, obviously a very, very popular animated show. And then Greg Daniels branched out from that and brought us The Office, the U.S. version of that. So look, all of these guys' shows are pretty great, and that's why this one threw me. And I try not to look at, reviews, but I will look at the Rotten Tomatoes a lot, and see, okay, like, am I in line with these people? This has a really high score with both critics and audience on Rotten Tomatoes. And I was not feeling it at all. I was shocked, actually, because I really, Mike Judge, I mean, he has made some of the greatest comedy movies of the last 20 years. Office Space, Idiocracy, Extract, I think, is a bit underrated. And obviously, back to my youth with Beavis and Butthead. So I was surprised that I disliked this so much. But this has like an 85 or something with the critics and about 90% with the audience. For me, much, much, much lower. So let's talk about why. So Annie Murphy plays Petey St. Bart's, who is this New York rich girl, not at all unlike Murphy's character on Schitt's Creek either. I think that was maybe part of my issue too. I like Annie Murphy. She's obviously done a few different things since Schitt's Creek has ended. Kevin can go F himself with something very, very different from her character on Schitt's Creek. But Alexis and Petey are very, very, very similar. Their lives get uprooted and they don't know how to really act in a small town. Like it's all very similar. But that's, by far not the worst part. But the rest of the plot goes like this. Basically, she discovers that her father died. Christine Baranski plays her mom. She tells her, and as part of that, she ends up inheriting a small town. Again, that's the same thing that happens in Schitt's Creek, but okay. But the twist on this is the town is basically filled of cult members, and her father was the leader of this cult, of which she really knew nothing about. She was not close with her father at all, so she didn't know any of that. But all these guys have been brainwashed, and so she tries to change the town, and nobody is having it. It turns out they like being a part of this, and okay, maybe that's because that's all they know. And so we're exploring these themes a little bit, which I admit, as the 10 episodes go on, perhaps we get a little more characterization and a little bit more of the sort of skewering that Mike Judge and Greg Daniels are known for. I only lasted 3 episodes out of the 10 because I'm like, I really, really don't care for this. And boy, if you don't grab me within 3 episodes, how are you going to grab anybody else? I'm forcing myself through these 2 or 3 episodes, so I can review them. But I think a lot of people are going to see that first episode and be like, this isn't funny. Like, I'm not with this. And that's the biggest issue here. Not just the Schitt's Creek connection. That's a little, kind of annoying. But, I mean, Andy Murphy's fine in the role, but, largely because it's the same basic role as Alexis. But, no, this is just not funny. They had one promising gag in the first episode, and that character gets killed immediately. So that's the end of that. So right there it's like, all right, that was the only part of the show I was enjoying thus far. It's got this like absurdist, surrealist kind of vibe to it. Like some of the jokes are they really are bizarre and like random just to be random, but it's not funny. Like her boyfriend is a piece of plywood. What's funny? And then she's a splinter on her friend's face. Oh, you're cheating on whoever. It's like, what is happening in this show? And then of course Christine Baranski character is so like out of touch and so rich and not worrying about anything. She doesn't even understand what the word daughter means. And someone explains to her, oh, it's like a son but a girl. Is that funny? Like, it is too surrealist and absurdist for me. I didn't think any of it really made sense. They were just throwing anything at the wall. And maybe part of the problem is Mike Judge isn't one of the writers. I think he can punch up scripts like this and, something like Extract that maybe is a little bit more basic or whatever. He can really punch up with the jokes, and obviously Office Space speaks for itself. But, even Office Space, that was not a hit when it came out. It got a new life on many, many, many viewings on Comedy Central or on VHS at the video store or whatever. I saw Office Space in the theater back in the day. I thought it was really funny. I went because of the Beavis and Butthead connection. I love Mike Judge. But a lot of people, didn't really get Office Space. So is this a show that maybe could grow on you? Maybe. But again, I'm not really willing to waste the time to find out. I will give it this, that because it was on Freeform, they do avoid the pitfall that I think a lot of Netflix adult animated shows and some of the other streamers fall into, which is, let's just say a bunch of curse words and that'll be the joke and that'll be hilarious. I tire of that very easily because I don't think it's creative. I don't think it's clever. And so because this was on actual television, on Freeform, they can get away with a little more because it's cable. But yeah, like they're not having the characters say, really dirty things just for the sake of it. Yes, they do talk about like how the father liked to have orgies with his servants or whatever. Okay. But that's about it, in terms of like the bawdiness. But yeah, look, this was a big miss and I am shocked. But look, the 10 episodes stand for themselves. There's not going to be a second season of this. So if you do want to check this out, it is on Hulu now. And I leave Praise Petey with a D. This for me was one of the worst shows of the year. I am shocked that people love it so much. But what do you think? Maybe you will like it as well. Thanks for watching Dan Reviews It. We'll see you next time.